crashed right before they started our countdown.
Oh, really? What kind of denomination is it?
They're part of Assemblies of God, so it's just a Christian-based
Cool.
church. And
Quarters, you know.
we have 3 campuses here. So I'm in one of the I guess like the remote campuses. So the pastor is leading from another location. And so after the worship team goes on and the local pastor kind of gives like an intro, then the main feed gets broadcast over from the other location, and like the whole system went down. So it was crazy. Like they couldn't get the feed. And so as on the worship team, when we sing, the words are usually up in the back of the room so that we can, remember. And like the word, like nothing, like they couldn't get that word, like nothing was working. So they literally were just like, worship team, just start singing. Like we're just going to start church. Let's do it.
Pull out the hymnals underneath the oh wait, we got rid of those too.
Yeah, totally. So it worked out.
We're going to go to page 298.
Yeah,
we're going to start in Amazing Grace. Most people know that one.
Everyone, just open up your Bible app. Okay, anyway, it's Sally. You chose a really weird time to start recording, just so you know. Just clip out these first 2 minutes.
I did got to that conclusion when they start talking about church and services, but it's fine. I mean,
we'll just clip that out before it goes on YouTube. It's fine.
Yeah, I can get Chamara to do that definitely.
And how does that relate to marketing?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot of things that we can get out of that. Logistics, for example, on Reliant.
Is that a pig?
That's Ellie Mae, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a pig.
Hey, don't make fun of the piglet. She's adorable.
I'm not. I mean, I ate bacon this morning. I'm all for pigs.
See, this is her pig house.
It's a real pigsty.
Yep.
The funniest was it like 2 weeks ago, Keith? He was sitting in the office and the piggy's with him, and all you hear is background. And I was cracking up. I'm like typing away, and I'm like, dude, I can hear the pig. I can hear the pig.
She's my wife's baby. Kathleen's from West Virginia, and she had 54 head of animal at one time, and or 75 on 54 acres. So, but we don't have nearly as many animals as we used
to. Animals are better than kids.
That's for sure. That's for sure. It's just tough when we want to travel.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, we have tons of animals in my mom's house too. So yeah, they're easier than kids because I have a niece and a nephew as well. But when you have to go travel, like you have to look for babysitters as well because yeah, they cannot take care of themselves. Well, anyway, it's 3:06 on my time. I'm on Mountain. I think I'm the same time as Marie and Liz. Hi, Liz. Welcome. So I think I gave already like kind of everyone a small introduction of the reason why I'm here. Pretty much Sean and Roger are currently on a sabbatical. So the team and I were going to be filling them in on some of the tasks they have. One of them is this meeting. The idea is just to keep things going and making sure that everybody has like a safe, cool space to share or to learn something new or recommend something that you guys are doing. So as our usual calendar says, today is the kickoff the week call, right? So our idea, well, my main purpose was to check if you guys have any goals, anything that you want to achieve during this week. I know that right now, per Sean's request, you have tons of goals that you might want to achieve for the Q1, but I do personally take it like, let's do it one day, 1 week at a time. Small goals also matter, and if it's on the short term, because that means that you're hitting into a bigger goal, right? But I think Bob mentioned that Sean was supposed to hold you guys accountable to see how much progress do you achieve on this month, because we're towards the end of February. So I would like to know how that's going. Who wants to start?
Liz is looking at me. I see her pointing at me like, dang it. Well, Liz and I, our goal was to finish our book this month, which I realized was a really silly goal at one point because we're relying on an accountant But we had a great meeting on Friday. We went like way over hours. And we actually have another meeting scheduled him tomorrow, but we have finished everything that we can finish. So aside from him just answering a few questions tomorrow, we are done and we can start sending it off to editing. So if anyone wants to proofread a book that's all about real estate taxes, let me know. I'll email you a copy tomorrow.
How many pages?
Right now it's about 80.
Oh, yeah, send that over. I can read that.
So it's on 8.5 by 11 right now. So eventually it will get, condensed down. We're hoping the book will be just over 100 pages on like 5 by 8 when we print. But yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Mickey made quite the face, like, ugh, like who wants to read about taxes?
No, actually, I want to read it to learn.
Yeah. No, you all will get it. I mean, yeah. So anybody.
Yeah,
can read.
yeah, for sure. That's great. That sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, but this is making sure
to be ready to. So there's a lot of people here that are doing a lot of flips that are eating the capital. Capital. So if I can put that in my back pocket and tell them to keep their house, and I will work on getting them the passive income and avoid the capital gains, like you guys are talking, not avoid. Let me rephrase that. Defer.
Well, they can be avoided.
Legally avoid.
Okay, good. Well, it's a Zoom call, so I don't want to.
Yeah, if anyone, anyone who's interested, just throw your emails in the chat. If I don't, just in case I don't have it. Like Keith, I don't think I have your email. I know by
You have mine. So.
What we're looking for then is, legit, like everything. Like, you can pick something and read through there. You can look at all the numbers and make sure those make sense. Whether punctuation or a word or something, and then if it's for me, I have to print stuff and then highlight or do it in red. It's harder to read online, but anything that you see. So if you want to pick something, and if it doesn't make sense, like you're scratching your head, like where did they get this number? Who's this person? Then that kind of stuff.
So, and we have some fun quotes in there, and we have even a little ditty about Jack and Diane. So, two American kids growing up.
You have to put that on there.
Perfect.
That's awesome. Congratulations, girls. I'm happy actually when you said like that was our goal. It sound like you guys actually didn't achieve that, but it sounds like you guys did. So congratulations.
Like I said, yeah. Aside from this one last meeting tomorrow, which is technically March 1st, but we're cheated because February is a short month anyway.
Yeah.
But we were relying on him. But no, I told Liz today I'm like very proud of us because it was a lot of work. And
well, Marie, when did you get back from Mexico?
The 14th.
Okay. So, we have been on Zoom calls for 4, 5, and 6 hours a day, every day.
Since February 14th.
Getting this done, not on the weekends, but we sit here and go back and forth on it. And then go meet with this accountant and have 3-hour meetings with him. So we set the goal for the end of this month and we're going to achieve it just besides him checking us fitting into his schedule. So.
Yeah, to Marie's point, February is kind of a pretty short month. So it does make sense that it might go a little over, but it's still, it's on a fair amount of time, I believe.
I know, but it was a huge thing. Setting that goal in this group, even setting that goal, because even though we work with Sean one-on-one, us setting that goal and making it a line in the sand helped us huge. And also putting some of the other stuff we were doing on hold, because that was an anchor dragging us down and so it was just like, okay, let's just stop that for right now. Stop everything else. And I don't know how we would have done this had we not, based on the amount of time we have literally spent on the computer. Like it's like, okay, I'm ready to start. Are you ready to start? We know the next 4 or 5, 6 hours we'll be on it. So that was hugely helpful. So I appreciate, I know Marie does, we appreciate all you guys because it made it something that we had to be held accountable to. And it got it done. So it was good.
Yeah, I think something that we can definitely learn from here is like prioritizing is kind of a huge thing. Even though that there's a lot of going on, like once that you decide that you want to give priority to one thing specifically, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're stopped doing everything else. It's just you're giving dividing the time in a way that you're giving it more priority to something that you consider is more important to achieve on that amount of time. So yeah, it's just setting let's say like logical and rational goals, like something that it's possible to achieve, and just give it the right priority. So
Yeah.
that's my big take there.
Well, and
Oh.
real quick, we have another kind of a goal now. I mean, there's a big real estate thing going on in April in Vegas. And so now the next thing is this thing has to be edited and printed. So we have it to take there, or else, I mean, it's not that meeting that
Yeah, we don't want to bring business cards. We want to bring like 50 copies of our book that we can
And-
just
and
hand
hand
out.
it out.
That's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
so now
really,
it's a
really
hard goal.
cool.
That's another thing. Then we have to have them done and ready to go.
Oh, that's so cool, Liz.
that's gonna give you guys a lot of
Congratulations,
edge compared to a lot of people there. So that's
Yeah.
that's a great idea, definitely.
I know.
Harry.
Yeah.
I am so excited for you. That's so good.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So
When is the real estate thing in April? Because
It's
we're going to be in Vegas the third week.
the 22nd to the 24th.
We'll have left right before then. That's okay.
Oh,
Just
Here, you know
rearrange
what?
your flight, Keith. Rearrange your flight. Stay a little longer.
I would love to. I have a high responsibility job. It's no excuse, but it's a reason.
Oh,
Hey, if you guys make a buyer's list or whatever, just like for real interested in your book, like that's really awesome. So I know you'll promote it, but as soon as that thing's ready and all the work that you guys put into it, we want to, buy a copy.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And I honestly think that, we've talked about where we're going to promote it and market it, and, teaching other real estate investors, because it goes over creative financing and all of that stuff. So we see it as, an asset to everyone that's in this community, because you guys are all going to want to be able to use those tools and help you, with your clients. So we feel like other real estate investors are going to be people that are going to benefit from the book, not just the landlord, sellers or the CPA.
No.
So
Right. We have a weekly, or we have a monthly REI meeting. It's a small group, and we always have a guest speaker. So I don't know if you guys would be interested in zooming in once your book is published and
Yep.
market that way. We could bring copies with us and
we can
help
do
sell
that.
them
And
for
we
you
go
guys
on
and stuff.
field trips, Keith. So we have no problem with field trip.
Do you? Well, we're in
Oh,
sunny
that's even
Florida,
better.
so come on
That's
down.
even, where in Florida?
We're in Citrus
He's near
County.
Ocala.
We're about an hour and 45 minutes north of
Okay.
Tampa.
We can go on a road trip. My
Yeah.
best friend lives in
Yeah.
Jupiter.
So,
There-
you're not far.
Yeah.
There's not
yeah,
much. There's
Bob's
not,
in Tampa,
Bob
and
would-
my godson's at the University of Tampa. So field trip.
yeah.
See, and my
Yeah.
BFF, she's in Jupiter. So there's a total field trip.
I don't-
In fact, Keith, when I fly to the eastern part of the United States, I go to Florida. It's because I'm going, we got to go the end of June. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be in South Carolina. She's only a state away. I have to go. It's too freaking long of a flight.
Yeah.
Well, and Liz put the event info in the comment box if anybody wants to check out the event we're going to in Vegas. And with that, Liz, we're going to be quiet so other people can have a chance to share.
No worries. Thank you for sharing. Actually, yeah, I think there was a lot of things that we can get from that. Who's next on sharing? What goals do you guys set up for this month? Right now, I know Mickey and Aziza, you just got connected. Right now, we're keeping on schedule with holding you guys accountable for whatever you commit to achieve this month. So who would like to go next into the seat? Mickey, go.
So I had committed to make to finish 6 videos and those blogs and to do GMB this month in February. So I am still editing my videos and actually writing the blogs now. And I just wrote to Max because I thought he was here online about how to get the transcript from the video instead of me rewriting the blog. So I am still on target on finishing this and just sending it over to you guys so that it will be on the website. But I definitely appreciated the push of having this accountability going on. It was a lot of work because I've been launching the coaching business at the same time and juggling all of it. It actually opened my eyes more on upgrading our package, going to the next level, just because it's a lot of it's a lot of handling, doing all those interlinking, making sure like those GMB and being constantly working on the website. Those are a lot of hours. And not only that, like I realized how of an amateur I am into that. As Roger is like recycling all of those great lessons, right? I mean, I've sat in those classes for like what, 2 years now? Has it been 2 years? I don't know. It seems like a long time every Monday that we've been doing that. Yet, when was it? 3 weeks ago when he was talking about the silo structure, I was like, oh, I get it for the first time, right? And so there's a lot of cleaning up that needs to happen on our website. So that was a really great eye-opening for me to actually being held accountable and like figure out the limits of what I can do and what should get off the plate at this point. So, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned like that is the first time that you actually fully understand how the silo works. And you know, it makes sense. It's just that sometimes when it's the first time that you listen to it, it's hard. It's not that it's hard, it's just it gets a little confusing, right? Because it's like a big chain with a lot of elements. But something that I learned because I started in content and we were implementing all this silo structure is like once that you put it into practice, it starts making more sense because just listening into theory is not the same as once that you start building your own content and see how actually connects. That's what makes a difference because theoretically, I mean, it does kind of get really confusing, but once that you're there doing the work and even like creating your own blogs, looking how that's gonna connect. And the reason why I think it's gonna go more easier now they are fully understanding. That might be part of the reason why it took you a little longer to get it going. But I mean, now that you're like all on track with that, I'm pretty sure that it's just gonna go easier. With the more practice to it, you're just gonna get used to the process. But yeah, I'm really happy that this actually worked for you. I mean, and that's yeah, and I mean that's something that we've been talking about, like how prioritizing is really important, even though that it doesn't look like it's gonna be much. When you start like taking into consideration the amount of time that you invest and the other things that you have going on, that's when you have to understand like the day only has 24 hours, right? So we better use them like properly, and also at the same time making sure that we don't exhaust ourselves overworking on something if there's like certain amount of days in a month, right?
Yes. Yes.
Kid, ready to share?
Yeah, I put my hand up.
Awesome.
And it's still up for some reason. So for sure on prioritizing. So this month, my 2 goals were to have 2 deals and to create a workflow, like a fully automated campaign for absentee owners and for pre-foreclosures. And this is not an excuse because I don't believe in excuse making. So we started our company, we started in June. And we're still working on our first deal. We have 3 very hot leads right now. We had our first legitimate call from a bandit sign yesterday, which was funny because they were asking for the wife that buys houses because I put my wife buys houses on them with her caricature. So anyway, as far as prioritizing, yesterday I was like, all right, I'm going to sit down and do this. And I got distracted. I didn't get distracted, but it took me more time than I anticipated creating like YouTube thumbnails and stuff to create videos to record based on little excerpts from the blogs that TRC is writing me, because that's part of like our strategy is they write the blog and then I basically take that content, put them into Google posts and then YouTube videos. And so right now it's just like when you're just getting started, everything's coming at you so fast and everything's a priority that you just it is, because then you have things that are going to be intensive and take time and you kind of procrastinate on them because they're not quick things that you can accomplish right away, but you have to start putting in that time to get there. So in a nutshell, yesterday I opted to get a system in place for SEO for what we're doing with YouTube. And I was just thinking, just like Mickey said, I thought to myself, this took me as much as I'm into it, it took me too much time, and like me and Kathleen, like anybody else, the most important thing that we need to be doing is looking for deals, and anything that can be handled by somebody else should be, if it can. So I just told myself, I don't know how many hours I invested on it, but I don't have the time to sit down and try to think of a really nice creative thumbnail for every YouTube video I put up. So I'm just going to put an ad on Fiverr tonight. Just who can customize my channel, who can make me a banner, and who can do ongoing thumbnails if I just give them the content that I want them to put in it. So long story short, did not hit my goal of creating 2 workflows. It was a prioritizing issue. It wasn't a lack of effort. But like that is still a goal, and I'm still at Q1 isn't up yet. So we're still working towards getting there, but now it has to be line in the sand, kind of like Marie and Liz were talking about.
No, and that's fine. I think it is completely understandable. I mean, one thing that I do usually apply on myself, even though they would want to be super structured and have everything with the plan and within a schedule, we have to understand that sometimes, it's life, right? And things can happen that they're not going to be under our control, right? So, I mean, I think at this point we have to be flexible enough to be able to adjust, because sometimes even if we plan it and we know that, it has to be this way and on this amount of time, sometimes life just happen, right? And we have to be capable enough to be flexible and adjust to see what's next, right? So I know that right now maybe your priority currently changed, but that doesn't mean that you're dismissing the whole process that you already put out in place. It's just that maybe the distribution of time, instead of investing more time into that, you just redirected the goal. It's just not losing it out of sight. It's something that is going to be really important. Maybe you're not going to dedicate as much time, but it's something that if you still see the goal into that, something that you might have to rearrange to see how that can fit into your new routine while you're adjusting these new things that are coming, because you're not going to dismiss that too. And like you said, at the end of the day, everybody has a business, right? So the most important thing is always, unfortunately, or let's say it on the good thing, is be generating deals, right? Or leads, because at the end of the day, that's the reason of the whole work, right? So yeah, I mean, even though if you have to redirect the goal, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just a matter of being flexible enough to make sure that it might take a little bit more of time, but at the end of the day, you're getting to the goal, which is what it matters, right?
Absolutely. That was great. That was really awesome. I think, and I told Kathleen this yesterday, getting the deal doesn't matter as much to me as the process being in place that took us to that deal. And so for me, that thorough, comprehensive process of, I want a repeatable process that we can build into a routine for every single thing, so that, we can nurture these 97% of leads that aren't ready to buy right away. So that's in my head. So, there is a jump in the action thing that you have to do. And then you also have to me, it's the long term is so important. So getting started seems like it's taking a little bit more time, but it's not. It's just that we're trying to be thorough with everything we're doing. But sometimes that can also come back and bite us in the butt as well.
Steve, do you have children? I'm sorry, do you have children?
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old daughter.
Okay, have you ever read the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie?
I have not.
Okay, so what happens is, it's like this, the squirrel thing. You give the mouse the cookie, and that means you got to go get the milk. And if you got to go get the milk, you got to open the refrigerator. If you open the refrigerator, you got to clean the refrigerator. And so it's like all those steps getting there. And so I think, we have these goals and we see them, but then there's a hurdle and an obstacle and another thing that has to happen to get there, that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize. So you're still aiming in that direction, but there's just things that come about that you're like, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't think about this, or now I got to do this because that's going to help that. So you're doing good. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And then once you get it all figured out, you got to change it anyway, because something else.
I know. Well, flexibility, that's my weakness, but it's okay. I'm much better than I used to be.
It's foundational too, Keith. Just think of it. You'd rather have a strong foundation than have, shooting off the hip.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. You guys are like a support group. Thank you.
One thing that it works for me personally, whenever goals, and just because what Liz says, I have read that book when I was in kindergarten. So it is really good. The fact is, sometimes we see the goal, like Liz was saying, but we don't see the process behind that goal. So that's something important as well. Whenever we set up a goal, it's really important that we understand how many steps does that goal is going to take? Because to get there is not going to happen just magically focusing on getting there. There's going to be a whole process, a lot of things that we have to do to achieve that. So also clarification at the moment that you set up a goal, just to see do's and don'ts, time spent, amount of hours invested into this, how many days, or even like effort, sometimes even creating content. Sometimes you can get really drained just by creating pieces of content. So it's just like, it's not just the goal itself without, but also all the process that is going to take you there, that you also cannot lose that of sight. And that also includes things that you haven't got planned. Like if something happens and this gets thrown up, how can I go back to that, to the track of getting to that goal? But good. I'm happy. I still, I mean, it's going to be a learning curve every once in a while whenever something happens. It's just a matter of keep consistency and enough flexibility for you to be able to go back on the horse when you're going to be fine. Who's next to share? Asisa, go.
It's actually Aisa.
Aisa. Oh,
Yes,
I see the
ma'am.
S now. Okay. Well, I saw it like on Spanish. My bad. I'm Mexican.
That's okay. It's close to Aida, right?
Aida. Yeah. That's why I see
Yes.
that. Okay. Well,
Perfect.
will go.
Aisa. Yes.
Aisa.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
So my challenge was we are moving into commercial, larger building purchases, multi-unit rentals. So while Miki is taking care of the website to fix the to get the inbound leads, so she's working on that. I'm working on that other part, the expansion of the multi-units, because that's what we like. We like to purchase multi-unit rentals. So my challenge is to start to gather the information and the networking. So we did get a list of a cold calling list that I did run through Skip Tracer, and is being it was sent to our partners that do cold calling. So now we're going to do the follow-up. So that part was done. It was completed. So now I'm going to work on this month on the continuing the networking part, because when you're doing certain size apartments, you get into syndications sometimes when it's like a larger units. So there's a lot of things that have to be learned, and it's a different process of vetting the properties. So I am working on that. We have some partners that I'm connecting with. So my goal is by the end of the month of March, I want to make sure that the basics, like what we need to do to continue with the learning that we already have, is available and is there. So as soon as we have that opportunity, we know who to contact to get it done. So it just to make sure that like the people we already spoke to, because we've been speaking to them since last year, know that, hey, yeah, we are seriously getting into this. The financing is lined up, the partners are lined up, and then we're ready to get in the process. So it's because it's just a matter of time at this point, because we've been actively looking at multi-units.
That's awesome. I actually love, like, now that we were talking about being super structured, I love that there's a whole process already in place. You already know what you need. It's just matter of like finding the extra resources that you need to achieve that. So I completely
Correct.
love the strategy part. It is really good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are such a nice Sean.
I know that it just, it doesn't feel the same, because Sean is like, okay, so what are you doing next? And Miki, where do you have that? And Aisa, why is this like that? And Marie, what did you do, Marie? But it's like, did you get that? So what is your punishment? So what are you going to do? And you're like, oh, you're so nice. You're like, yes. And I know it's being recorded. We love you, Sean. But, we do prefer you. You're just, it's just so positive.
Well,
Very,
one
very
thing,
strong facilitation
It's
skills.
like, you're giving us a hug. Sean was like, okay, let's get to business.
Well,
One
one
thing,
thing-
itself, you might have to lead this now once a week. Sean might assign a day just for itself.
yeah, at this point, I think we're getting into a direction. He's sounding really interested in that. I mean, I know we had that even internally. Sean is kind of more like a pusher, but honestly, that's the reason why the company's been achieving all the goals that we've been through. Like
We're
somebody
just
has to be, let's say, the
We
bad
know.
cop or the angry dad, because otherwise, I mean, Yeah.
No,
Most
we appreciate that from him because we are in business. We need to get it done, and he makes sure that we get it done. And then like, okay, no excuses, just get it done. So,
Yeah.
but it's nice to have you. It's a little flavor, the different flavor. We like that.
Thank you. Well, I'm happy that you guys feel comfortable with that. So with that being said, Sean, please, we're gonna cut this when Chamara goes to editing, just so he doesn't feel that you guys didn't miss him enough. So who's next? I see Bob, John, Aileen. I don't think I have ever met her. I believe I saw all of you guys before, but Aileen, I think it's the only one that it doesn't look familiar for me. So John, Bob, Aileen.
I'll go. I'll knock it out real fast. I had set a goal of locking up 3 properties to work with this. It's a veterans help group where we can basically put beds to heads. And I got the 3 properties locked up. It's going to take us about 2 months to get it established. That being done, I'm also working as a capital partner to provide the furniture in the house, which will also get me an ROI for myself, which I was not expecting. So it worked out really well.
Nice. Well,
Nice,
that's
man.
yeah. So I mean, I think I talked with you before, and I remember that you were talking about those properties that you were attempting to close. I mean, that came earlier than we expected when we had that last conversation.
Yeah, much, because I wasn't planning on putting that many at first. But when we had the setting up the establishment of the goal for the month, I got JP and Chris, and I literally said, crap, I got JP of all people, and I know he's going to hold me accountable. So it was luckily the following, I think it was the following Tuesday, I got a phone call from a friend of mine who is actually looking at selling his house. And I'm like, I got an idea. And then it just snowballed from there. A connection of a connection, and 3 more people. One of them backed out, but I wound up, instead of taking advantage of having 4, I wound up let the one go and decided to utilize my own property. And that's how I got my 3rd one. So just being creative and thinking outside the box. So if once I take mine, the residual income, I'll be able to just move into a tiny little apartment and then have the 3 properties. The one property is going to have about 10 heads in there. So that's how big the house is.
That's really cool, actually. And I like the fact that you said, like, you took the opportunity. So that's something that we, I mean, combining IESAs and keep the experience, like, about being flexible and being really structured. I mean, this is a great combination because, I mean, having like a plan already in place, but also being flexible enough to look for other options and other areas of opportunity instead of just like looking at the gold nugget. That's something like sometimes we get so focused on the goals that we forget that there's other alternatives to achieve our at the end of the day goal. So that was pretty awesome. Congratulations.
And they're going to be able to keep the property and get passive income on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's a triple win. That, you know, the partner, the homeowner, and myself. So it's all good.
That's really cool, Bob. Thank you so much for sharing. John, you're up.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to learn another program. And also with all the stuff that Sean's been pushing about, my lead intake page that I'm working on for direct mail with the QR code and all this stuff. And he keeps making me like go back in and redo it. Every time he mentions something else, I'm like, oh, I should have done it that way. So I just like scrap it and redo it. So I've got to just like quit getting on these calls for like a week and actually get it done. Might be what I need to do because I keep changing it. That's the engineer in me. But other than that, I actually have a call here in about 10 minutes to set up a cold caller. Yeah, so I'm doing that, outsourcing cold calling. So I'm going to be starting that with also this flow. So it's going to be a multi-touch cold calling and then stacking lists and then targeting more. So yeah, it's going to get real fun in the next few months.
That's cool. So then your only situation there is going to be the nitpicking part to get it done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like my full-time job, I had some personnel things that I had to take care of. So yeah, that's been like took the last week and a half trying to make sure somebody doesn't quit. That's highly important to our team. And then getting somebody in to help because they're just overworked. So I know what they're talking about. But yeah. So that's just the other part of it though.
Yeah.
Who are you interviewing for cold calling? Just out of curiosity.
Hire Train VA. It's through another mastermind I'm doing. Yeah, so they actually source them all, then do the ongoing training, and have all the like systems in place.
So like another Riva or whatever. Let me know how it goes, please.
Yep.
I'm interested.
Yeah, so I'm setting up Zen call, so we'll see how that works because that's what they use. So it wasn't my first choice, but we'll try it.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Just let's keep that consistency going. Then that's going to be your inside task.
Yep.
Aileen, something that you would like to share? I think you're going to be the last one. Yep. Well, I don't listen to her. I don't know if you guys can hear her. It's just me. I think she's muted. But then again, thank you so much, all of you guys, for sharing. I think I got the opportunity to learn a lot. Kit, you're raising still your hand or you raise it again?
I raised it again. I didn't mean to be
Okay,
rude.
awesome.
I'll wait.
No. Yeah, you can go. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Oh, is Max on this call?
Yes, he is.
Oh, awesome. So I actually had a quick question, and Sean Hyde was just busy and didn't be able to respond. I have a separate number. I have a vanity number that I would like to set up the missed call text back feature with, but it's through phone.com. It's through another company, and I guess there's information that I have to send them to basically import that number into the system. Is there anybody who knows what that is, or is that something we would have to wait for Sean to get back to do?
You're trying to make the integration into Leadball, right? Okay, yeah. On that one,
Yeah.
I would recommend it to send it to support, the whole question, the whole setup. I know the guys are kind of familiar. Max is more into the form side of things, so the phone is a different integration. But send it through support. We're gonna see if Nimitz can take a look into it to see
Cool,
how we can
okay.
proceed on that. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Not a problem. So yeah, actually Max is sitting right next to me right now. We have a project an art project together. So this is like our office to work on art. So before we give it a wrap up into this, anyone else has something to share regarding to their goals or something that you want to achieve this week or even for March? I know already Aisa shared part of like his whole idea on the things that he wants to achieve through the next month. So is anyone else has something planned like that, or any short-term goal that you want to share? No, you guys are good. That's awesome. Well, I think this is the first time that I talk with you guys so much. So I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know how was this gonna go.
You did great, Itzel. You did great.
Thank
Very,
you.
very well. Very great. You would have never have known.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you guys are actually gonna see me all week because the rest of the team is on sabbatical. So you're gonna see me a lot through these days. You're gonna get a lot of warm before Sean comes back.
That way you can work on your transcripts from the videos. Right, Mickey?
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have time to work on that prior for Sean to come back. It's still, I mean, I think you're gonna see this recordings, but anyway, well, thank you all of you guys for sharing. It was a really nice pleasure to be able to talk to all of you guys. I think that for now we're all good to go unless someone else has questions or any other doubts. We're still working our regular hours. Even Roger and Sean are not here. The next in lines are here. So if you guys have any requirements or anything, everything is going to be working the same. So nothing necessarily has to change on that area. Max is going to be leading support. Nimitz is also available. So yeah, if you guys need anything, just let us know. We're happy to help. Okay.
Thank you. And just so you
Thank
know,
you
last
so
week I
much.
put in a few requests to support, and I know you guys were all gone, but they still got done. So
Yeah.
you guys put some good systems in place because
Yes.
there were changes made to my website last week. So good job.
Yeah, we have a couple team members that have been trained now. So we're able to take a couple days off without the company falling apart.
Good job.
You
Well,
did
It
then-
is. Congratulations of getting to this point. That's exciting. We're very happy for you guys.
Thank
So
you.
Mickey, are you eating chocolate or no chocolate? I mean, what's the foundation?
It's like I'm like midway through, right? I'm like, I think I can still have it.
Okay, good.
I mean, it's like
You
itself,
got
right? If it was Sean, he
hours
would have been
left.
like, nah.
You
But
got
it's not
6 hours
Sean.
left.
Yeah.
Gotta live to the requirement.
Hey,
Yes.
Bob, that's what I said to Marie, because she's like, no, we got to finish these last few questions before we get in the call. And I go, no, the day ends at midnight, 11:59. I think we have time. So we're going to meet it.
All right.
All right.
Have a good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
everybody.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Liz, I'll see you soon.